Like here, you can like and subscribe to my channel. This will not only allow you to receive it quickly when we prepare wonderful videos for you in the future, but also allow you to swim in the ocean of stories. Feel free to share your thoughts with us. After the death of our mother, my brother and I didn't get along. Years on that day, he suddenly appeared on my doorstep. It had been years since my mother passed away. During these years, I had little contact with my brother. We used to have a good relationship, but after the death of our mother, for some unknown reason, we drifted apart. I had been working hard. Occasionally, I would go back to my hometown to see my father, but every time, I didn't dare to see my brother. I didn't know if he still remembered me or if it was because of the estrangement between us that made us distant. My brother and I sat together on the couch. The smell that pervaded the surroundings made us feel a bit awkward. We didn't know what to say and just silently looked at each other. After a long time, my brother spoke, breaking the silence. I looked at my brother with mixed feelings in my heart. I would have loved to reproach him, but seeing him like this, I just couldn't do it. Brother, how have you been doing all these years? I asked softly. It's okay. Work is stable and life is quite passable. The younger brother looked up and forced a smile. What about you, sister? You look like you're doing well. I'm okay too, but I paused, not sure how to continue. I've been thinking about you, brother. We haven't seen each other in so many years. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Tears welled up in his brother's eyes and I felt so sad. I didn't know what to do with him. I'd always felt like it was my fault, which was why I'd been avoiding you. I didn't dare to see you. Hearing my brother's words, my mood suddenly became complicated. I could understand how he was feeling. After all, the death of our mother was a huge blow to both of us, but I'd also been blaming myself for our estrangement. I held out my hand, gently caressing his brother's face. Younger brother, over the years, I've been thinking about you. I've been waiting for you to come to me, but you never came. Sister, I'm sorry. My brother grabbed my hand and tears finally fell. I'm really sorry for you. I know I hurt you, but I really don't know how to face you. I hugged my brother, letting his tears erode my clothes. I knew all these years that we were all grieving the loss of our mother, but we didn't support each other. Instead, we became estranged. I gently patted my brother on the back, trying to comfort him. I felt his body tremble slightly. His emotions had clearly reached a critical point. I couldn't help but feel my eyes moisten too, and tears flowed involuntarily. After a long time, my brother finally calmed down. He looked up at me, his eyes full of apology and reluctance. Sister, I'm really sorry. I've been running away all these years. I'm afraid to face you, afraid to confront our past. But I now realize that I was wrong. I should have come to you sooner and had a good talk with you. I nodded slightly and wiped the tears from his face. Brother, I'm sorry too. We are all to blame for all these years of estrangement. But now we're back together, we can start all over again. Hearing my brother's apology, my heart softened. My brother and sister finally met honestly and regained the intimacy we had many years ago. We talked a lot, from the moment our mother died to the respective lives of these years. My brother told me that he'd been working hard, hoping to make my father and me proud of him. Occasionally, he also shared his journey of working hard in the city. Although it could feel lonely at times, he'd been holding on to his dreams. During the chat, we both felt each other's growth. The younger brother was no longer the wayward little boy he used to be, but rather a responsible man. I was no longer the youngest daughter who was always protected by her mother, but a woman on her own. We'd all experienced the ups and downs of life, but in the end, it came to this day, standing in front of each other again. Sister, how are you doing all these years? The younger brother asked softly. I smiled and nodded, said it was okay, although it can feel tiring at times. But overall it went well. What about you, brother? I heard that you also have good results in the company. Yes, the work is pretty stable, the younger brother said a little shyly. I've been working on it though. I hope to make both my father and you proud of me. You're always so desperate. I couldn't help but sigh. I know you've always wanted to prove yourself, but you have to take care of yourself too. Brother, I'm really proud of you. Hearing me, the younger brother's eyes sparkled with joy. Sister, thank you. Over the years, I miss you all the time. I know what I did hurt you. I'm so sorry. My brother and I too were saddened by the loss of our mother, but we didn't support each other. Instead, we became estranged. I whispered that we were all wrong, but now the important thing is that we are able to go again together. Hearing my brother's words, a warm current welled up in my heart. My brother and sister finally saw each other honestly again, which was very gratifying. Over the years, I'd been beating myself up about our relationship. I knew about my mother's death. It was a huge blow for all of us, but we didn't support each other well. Instead, he chose to escape. I'd been waiting for my brother to come to me, but he never came. I didn't know if I'd done something wrong that made my brother feel alienated, but now I saw my brother come to me on his own initiative and apologize to me. My mood finally relaxed. My brother and sister finally met honestly and found each other again. I knew that the estrangement between us didn't happen overnight. It takes our collective efforts to be able to re-establish it. I reached out and gently stroked my brother's face. We're all not what we used to be. The carefree kid is gone. We've all experienced the ups and downs of life and learned to be on our own. I was proud of my brother's growth and also proud of my growth. My brother and I immediately rushed back to our hometown and saw my father lying on a hospital bed. His face was pale and his breath was faint. The doctor told us that my father's physical condition was very serious. If it dragged on any longer, I'm afraid it wouldn't last long. Seeing such a father, my brother and I burst into tears. We held our father's hand tightly and couldn't believe it was true. Father, here we are, the younger brother said in a trembling voice. We will always be with you. My father opened his eyes slightly and looked at us, two siblings. A smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. Kids, you're all grown up. Father's weak voice echoed through the room. We hugged my father tightly and tears flowed uncontrollably. Father, I'm sorry, we're late, I said with a twitch. Father whispered our names and we hurried closer. Don't be sad, children, Father said weakly. I know you guys have been worrying about things in our family. Father, we're really sorry. We should have come to see you sooner, the younger brother said silently. Kids, it's not your fault. Father held our hands lightly. Over the years, I've been waiting for you guys to come together again. Seeing that you are able to stand together again today, I'm really relieved. Hearing my father's words, my brother and I immediately felt guilty and heartbroken. We always thought that we were working hard for our family, but we neglected our father's needs. We were immersed in our own pain, forgetting that our father also experienced the death of our mother and carried all the burdens alone. I held my father's hand tightly and tears flowed uncontrollably. Father, I'm sorry. We're really sorry, leaving you alone to bear so much. If only we could have come back to see you sooner, maybe the situation wouldn't be so bad now. Looking at my father's weak appearance, my brother and I burst into tears. We held my father's hand tightly, afraid that we might lose him if we weren't careful. Just when we were comforting each other, my father coughed suddenly. His face became more and more pale. We rushed to call the doctor. The doctor told us after the examination that my father's condition worsened and surgery must be performed immediately. Hearing this, my brother and I were immediately distraught. We held my father's hand tightly. Don't dare to let go. Father must hold on, the younger brother said in a choked voice. Father nodded weakly, reaching out and gently patting the back of our hand. Don't worry, kids, he whispered. I'm going to do my best to overcome this. Again, the doctor reminded us that the surgery must be performed immediately. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. My brother and I looked at each other and eventually nodded, agreeing to the surgery. The doctor said the surgery was risky. We couldn't help but feel a little scared, but we had no choice. I could only pray that my father would be able to get through this difficult time. Sister, I'm so scared. My brother held my hand tightly. There was fear in his eyes. If something happens to father, what are we going to do? Brother, we must believe in our father. I tried to keep my composure, trying to comfort my brother. My father will definitely overcome this disease. We must support him. But what if something goes wrong? The younger brother's voice trembled and tears flowed involuntarily. What are we going to do? Brother, we can't think like that. I gently hugged my brother, trying to calm his emotions. We must believe in our father. Trust the doctor. We will always be there for our father. We'll get through this. Sister, I'm really scared. My brother hugged me tightly. The water in my eyes couldn't stop flowing. If we lose our father, what are we going to do? I held my brother's hand tightly. Tears flowed involuntarily.